Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do paper 3, second variant for the May June 2025 series. This is Cambridge IGCSE Maths paper code 0580. In this video, I'll be giving a detailed walkthrough of all of the questions that came in this exam and then see whether the question paper was easy overall or difficult or somewhere in the middle. If you're someone who wants to access the other papers for May June 25 series, you can check out the link above. I'm regularly updating this playlist and posting all of the videos for this series. So without further delay, let's start with this one. So it says write 3.45 p.m. using the 24-hour clock. So using the 24-hour clock, 3.45 becomes 15:45 p.m. The diagram shows a square base pyramid. Complete the statement. The pyramid has how many edges and vertices? Now, edges are these lines. These lines that we connect to make the shapes, that's your edge. And vertices are basically these corner points. So the pointed parts, like the corners of the shape, that's your vertex. So over here, we can see we have how many vertices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 vertices, and for the edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 edges. If they were asking about the faces, faces are like the surface of the shape. So for the face, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 faces. 1 is the base, and then 4 triangular faces for the pyramid. Then it says convert 3 meters into millimeters. 1 centimeter is 10 millimeter. 1 meter is 100 centimeters, which means 1 meter in millimeter is going to be 1000 millimeters. So 3 millimeters is 3000 millimeters. For this, you need to know about your basic metric conversions. Then it says apple costs $1.20 per kg and 1 banana costs 35 cents. Work out the total cost in dollars of 3 kgs of apples and 7 bananas. That's going to be 7 times 1.20 plus 7 times 0.35. Why 0.35? Because it's 35 cents. $1 equals to 100 cents, which means 35 cents in dollars is going to be 0.35. You have to be very careful about this because they want the answer in dollars. So don't just directly multiply 35 with 7. Multiply 0.35 with 7. So that's going to give us a value of $6.05. Then work out the change from $20. So just subtract 6.05 from 20. And that's going to give you $13.95. Then it says a student scores 58 out of 80 in a test. Calculate the percentage score. So for the percentage score, you first create a fraction for the score, 58 out of 80, and then times the fraction by 100. Whenever we're trying to find a percentage of something, we always multiply that thing by 100. So in this case, they want the percentage score. So 58 out of 80 times 100, which gives us 72.5%. That's your answer. Then it says calculate 57% of 45. Very straightforward. 57% is 57 over 100. Off means multiply. And then 45. That gives us 25.65. Then a train leaves station A at 13:44. The train arrives at station B after 3 hours and 30 minutes. Work out the time the train arrives at station B. So we add this to 13:44. So 13:44 plus 3:30. 4, 7, and 16. So since our minutes cannot be greater than 60, that means we take 60 minutes from 74 and add that as an hour in 16. So 16 becomes 17 and 74 becomes 14. So 17:14 is the time at which the train arrives at station B. Then the distance between station A and station B is 210 kilometers. Calculate the average speed of the train in kilometers per hour. So for average speed, We divide the distance by the time. Time is 3.5 because it took the train 3 hours and 30 minutes to go from A to B. So 210 divided by 3.5 is going to give us 60 kilometers per hour. Then it says exchange rate is $1 equals to 0.923 euros. Calculate the difference between 750 euros and $846. Give your answer in euros correct to 2 decimal places. So they want the answer in euros. So we have to convert the 846 into euros first. So 846 times 0.923. That's going to give us 780.858. They want the difference between the two. So very straightforward. You just subtract the two quantities, and that is going to give you 30.858. They want the answer correct to 2 decimal places, so 30.86 euros is your answer. Then it says Flo has a bag of counters. She picks a counter at random from the bag. The probability that she picks a green counter is 0.52. Work out the probability that she does not pick a green counter. So we just subtract the probability of getting a green counter from 1, which gives us 0.48. Then the bag contains 3 colors of counters: green, pink, and red. There are 3 times as many pink counters as red counters. So if red is x, pink is 3x. Complete the table. So all of these probabilities added up will always equal to 1 because the bag exists as one whole. So all of the counters being in the bag have a probability of 1. So when you pick out the categories based on color, then the probabilities change. Probability of getting a green counter becomes 0.52. Probability of getting a pink counter becomes 3x. And for red, it's x. So all of these added up equal to 1. So using this equation, we can easily find the value of x. So that's 1 equals to 0.52 plus 4x. 1 minus 0.52 equals to 4x, which is going to be 0.48, and then divide that by 4, which is 0.12. That's x. Probability of getting a red counter is 0.12, and for pink it's going to be 0.36. Then it says Flo picks one counter from the bag at random, records the color, and replaces it in the bag. She does this 200 times. Calculate the expected number of times she picks a green counter. So to find the expected number, we always multiply the probability with the number of times an event is happening. So 0.52 times 200, and that gives us 104. That's the expected number of times she can get a green counter. Then it says A, B, and C are points in a circle, center O, diameter AC. Complete these statements giving geometrical reasons. The value of x is 65 degrees. Why? Because OB equals to OA, and they're the radius. So if the lengths are same, the angles are going to be the same as well because we have an isosceles. So, because they are the angles of an isosceles triangle, then angle ABC is 90 because angles in a semicircle equal 90 degrees. It's one of the circle theorems. Whenever your angle is coming out of a semicircle, given that it's coming out of a diameter, it's going to be 90. Then the value of y is this because value of y is going to be, okay, so if this is 90, y is going to be 180 minus 90 minus 65, which is 25 degrees. And the reason for that is sum of angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. Since we have two angles, the third angle can easily be found by subtracting them from 180. So very simple question. Then the scale drawing shows the position of a hospital H. The scale is 1 centimeter represents 6 kilometers. A school S is 33 kilometers from H on a bearing of 155 degrees. Mark the position of S on the scale drawing. So 1 centimeter equals to 6 kilometers, which means for the distance on the map between the hospital and the school, we divide 33 by 6. So 33 divided by 6 is going to give us 5.5 centimeters. So using your ruler, you will draw a line of 5.5 centimeters. Now for the bearing, you need your protractor. Using a protractor, you're going to measure the angle. Using a protractor, you're going to measure the angle of 155, which is approximately going to come somewhere over here. You will measure the angle from H because it says a school is 33 kilometers from H on a bearing of. So wherever it's from, you measure the bearing at that point. You measure it from the north in clockwise direction. So in this direction, this angle will be 155. And you'll have S over here, and this distance is going to be 5.5 centimeters. So you need your protractor and ruler for this. Without this, you cannot get it. So without them, you cannot create an accurate drawing. Then it says, Kim and Tom ask some students if they prefer chemistry, biology, or physics. Kim draws the bars for biology and physics. Kim draws the bars for biology and physics on a bar chart. Tom draws the sector for chemistry on a pie chart. Use information from both diagrams to complete the bar chart and the pie chart. So if you look at the bar chart, we can see that biology has 9 children and physics has 7 children. 120 degrees is the angle for chemistry. So that means remaining angle is going to be 240. So 240 over 360 times the total children is basically equal to 9 plus 7, which is 16. So we can simplify this and then multiply 16 by 36 and divide the result by 24 to find the total students. So that's going to be 24. We have 24 students in total. So if out of 24, 16 are a part of biology and physics, so the remaining is 8, which means the bar chart, which means the bar height for chemistry is going to be 8. So this is the complete bar chart. Now for the pie chart, biology was 9 and physics is 7. So what we can do is, to find the angle, we can multiply the fraction for biology, which is 9 out of 24, with 360. That will give us the angle for biology students. 9 times 360 divided by 24, that's 135 degrees. And then for the physics students, we can do 7 out of 24 times 360. That gives us 105. So what you will do is, using your protractor once again, you will draw an angle of 135 degrees for physics and 105 for. So using your protractor, you will draw 135 angle for biology and 105 for physics. 135 is going to be somewhere over here. So you can say that's biology, 135 and 105. So that would be a complete pie chart. But remember, you need your protractor for this. You cannot just draw it freehand by assuming what would be 135 and what would be 105. Give one advantage of reading results from bar chart compared to from pie chart. The one advantage of reading results from bar chart compared to from a pie chart is that you get access to exact frequency values. In a pie chart, you don't have exact frequency values. You just have an angle. We don't know exactly how many students are there by looking at the pie chart, but by looking at the bar chart, you can see how many students are taking biology, physics, or chemistry. A linear sequence has a first term of 2 and a fourth term of 20. The term-to-term rule for this sequence is add k. work out the values of E, F, and K. So if we're adding K, 2 plus K equals to E plus K equals to F, and F plus K equals to 20. So we can say that 2 plus K equals to F. That means 2 plus 2K is F. And F can be replaced with 2 plus 2K and then plus K equals to 20. So I replaced the E in the second equation with the first equation. Then I replaced the F in the third equation by the F in the second equation. So that gives me 2 plus 3K equals to 20. Now we just have an equation in terms of K. 3K equals to 18 and K is 6. So if K is 6, F is going to be 2 times 6. If K is 6, F is going to be 2 plus 2 times 6 equals to F. That's 2 plus 12 and that's 14. And E is going to be 2 plus 6 and that's 8. So these are your values. Then it says these are the first 4 terms of another sequence. Find the nth term. So as you can see, each term is decreasing by 2. So you multiply negative 2 with n, and let's use that as the nth term. So based on this, first term would be negative 2 times 1, which is negative 2. Obviously, that's not the same as 9. So to turn negative 2 into a 9, we need to add 11 to it. So let's use negative 2n plus 11 as the nth term. So second term would be negative 2 times 2 plus 11. Negative 4 plus 11 is 7, which is correct. And find the third term, negative 2 times 3 plus 11, that's going to be 5. So that means this works. Nth term is negative 2n plus 11. Remember, you always have to find the difference first. If the first difference is common, that means it's a linear sequence. Once you have that common difference, you times that by n. If something was being added, then it's going to be positive n. If something was being subtracted, it would be negative n. And then using that as the nth term, you check if you're getting the exact same terms as given in the sequence. If you don't get them, then you need to add or subtract something to check how you will get that term. And then you will use that new equation to test if that equation works for all of the given terms in the sequence. Then it says P equals to 6A plus 5B. Find the value of B when P is 25 and A is 3. Again, very straightforward question. They just want you to substitute the values and find the value of B. So 25 equals to 6 times 3 plus 5B. 25 equals to 18 plus 5B. 25 minus 18 is going to be 7. 7 equals to 5B. So 7 divided by 5 is your value of B, which can also be rewritten as 1.4. Then make T the subject of the formula W equals to KT plus Y. To make T the subject, we have to isolate T on one side. So first, I'm going to take Y to the other side, and that gives us W minus Y equals to K times T. Then we divide both sides by K because we're trying to make T the subject. So T equals to W minus Y over K. That is your answer. Then says the equation of a line y equals to negative 5x plus 7. Write on the gradient of this line. Gradient is always the number that's being multiplied to x. So that's going to be negative 5 over here. Find the coordinates of the point where this line crosses the y-axis. Y-axis is the y-intercept, which is the constant that's being added to x. So x will always be 0 when the line is crossing the y-axis, and y value will be 7. For this, you need to know what y equals to mx plus c is, which is your slope-intercept form. M is your slope, which is the same thing as gradient, and c is your y-intercept. Then it says Sam spends $187 on electricity and gas. The ratio electricity to gas is 8:3. work out how much Sam spends on electricity. So we'll do 8 over 11 times 187, which equals $136. In ratios, you always add the quantities given the ratio, and that becomes the denominator of the fraction, and numerator is the thing that we're talking about. So if we're talking about electricity, then the numerator will be 8. If we're talking about gas, numerator will be 3. And then you times the fraction by the total quantity to see what is the bill for that specific thing. Jay spends $180 on electricity and $150 on gas. Write on the ratio of electricities to gas. Write on the ratio of electricities to gas in its simplest form. So 180 is to 150. The zeros get cancelled out. Both come in the 3 times table. It's going to be 6 is to 5. We cannot further simplify it because 6 and 5 don't come in the same times table. Then it says Cat spends money on electricity and gas in the ratio E is to G, which is electricity is to gas. Write down an expression in terms of E and G for the fraction she spends on gas. So it's the same thing as we did, but we did that with numbers and now it's variables. So for gas, it's going to be G over E plus G. The thing that we're talking about, that comes in the numerator, and the denominator is the sum of both the quantities. So E plus G in the denominator and G in the numerator. Then it says Rick invests $6,000 for 5 years at a rate of 9% per year compound interest. Calculate the total interest earned during the 5 years. So compound interest formula is principal amount, which is 6,000, time is 5 years, and rate of interest is 9. So we do P times 1 plus R over 100 to the power of T, which is 6,000 times 1 plus 9 over 100 whole power 5. Plug this in the calculator, and that will give you the total value of the investment after 5 years, which is going to be 9,231.74. So for the interest, you will subtract this and the initial amount. So 9,231.74 minus 6,000, and that gives us $3,231.74. That is the total interest she earned during the 5 years. Then it says the factory produces brass at a rate of 172 kilograms per hour. Convert this rate into grams per second. So 1 kg is 1,000 grams. 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. So 172 times 1,000 divided by 3,600. Since we're going from kgs to grams, so we times 172 by 1,000. We're going from hours to seconds. You must be thinking, why not we multiplying it by 3,600? The reason why we're not multiplying it by 3,600 is because it's per hour. Per means division. So hour automatically comes in the denominator. So you replace the hour with 3,600 seconds, and that's why we're dividing it, not multiplying it by 3,600. So when you solve that, that gives us 47.8 grams per second, correct to 1 decimal place. Then the rate is increased to 176 kilograms per hour. Calculate the percentage increase. So for that, we subtract the new value and the old value, and then divide by the old value, and then times the fraction by 100. So 176 minus 172 divided by 172 times 100. Once again, new value minus old value divided by old value times 100. This is the formula that we're following. So that's going to give us 2.33%. Then it says write 0 point several zeros. I'm not going to read all of them. 3, 4, 7 in standard form. So when you're trying to convert a number in standard form, you have to make sure that the first number before the decimal is a non-zero digit. There's only one number before the decimal, and then you times it by 10 to the power of how many places you move the decimal. So you're moving the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be 3.47 times 10 to the power of -8. Since we move the decimal towards the right-hand side, it's going to be negative for the power. If we had moved the decimal towards the left-hand side, it would be positive for the power. Then calculate 3 times 10 to the power 4 times 5 times 10 to the power 6. You can multiply 3 with 5, that's 15. And for 10, you can add the powers, so 4 plus 6. This is one of the rules of indices. When you have similar bases being multiplied, you can add the powers and the base remains the same. It says standard form, so we need a decimal over here. So that's going to be 1.5 times 10 to the power of 11 now, not 10. I move the decimal towards the left-hand side. If you're thinking where is the decimal, every whole number has a decimal at its end. So 15 is the same as 15.0. So if I move this decimal one place to the left-hand side, I'm going to add 1 to the power over here with 10. So 10 becomes an 11, and it's 1.5 times 10 to the power of 11 in standard form. Don't leave it as 15 times 10 to the power of 10. They will not give you a mark for this. Then we have solving one-step and two-step equations for algebra. X plus 3 equals to 3. So x is going to be 0 because x is 3 minus 3. That's 0. Then 5y equals 2. We cross multiply 8 times 3. That's 24. Y is going to be 24 divided by 5, which equals to 4.8. Then it says simplify w to the power of 3 whole power 10. According to the rules of indices, whenever there's a power outside the bracket and inside the bracket, we multiply the powers. So that's going to be w to the power of 30. Then whenever we have similar bases being multiplied, we add the powers. So we have t to the power of 6 times v to the power of 7 times t to the power of 3 times v to the power of -2. So t to the power of 6 times t to the power of 3 is t to the power of 6 plus 3. I'm adding the powers. Base is still the same. And for v, it's going to be 7 plus -2. When you're combining the powers, nothing happens to the base. What changes is the power. So that's t to the power of 9 times v to the power of 5. That is your final answer. Then it says in this question, all lengths are in centimeters. The diagram shows a right angle triangle. Write down expression in terms of x for the perimeter of the triangle. Then we answer in its simplest form. So the perimeter of the triangle, you will add up all the lengths because perimeter is the boundary of the shape. So we always add the lengths. 2x minus 5 plus 2x plus 2 plus 4x minus 9. Combine the like terms. 2x plus 2x is 4x plus 4x, 8x. -5 plus 2 is -3. -3 minus 9 is -12. So 8x minus 12 is your perimeter. Then the perimeter of the triangle is 40 centimeters. Work out the value of x. So we put that equation equal to 40. 40 equals to 8x minus 12. Move the 12 to the other side. 40 plus 12 equals to 8x. That is going to be 52. Divide both sides by 8 and x equals to 6.5. Then it says work out the area of the triangle. So for the area of the triangle, the formula is 1/2 times base times height. But we don't know what the base and height values are. We just have expressions. However, we have the value of x now, so we can use that to find the base and height. So let's look at the diagram. This would be 2 times 6.5 minus 5, which gives us 8 centimeters. And this would be 2 times 6.5 plus 2, which is going to give us 15 centimeters. So area is going to be 1 over 2 times 8 times 15, which equals 60 centimeters square. That's the area of the triangle. Then since a sphere has radius 8 centimeters, a cone has radius 8 centimeters in height h. The sphere and the cone have the same volume. Work out the height h of the cone. So if they have the same volume of sphere is equal to 4 over 3 pi r cube, r being 8 over here. So this gives us a value of 2144.66 centimeter cube. Now for the cone, the volume is 1 over 3 pi r square h. So 2144.66 equals to 1 over 3 pi times 8 square times h. So that's going to equal to 2144.66 times 3 divided by 64 times pi, and h is 31.99 centimeters, which can be rounded to 32 centimeters. That is your height of the cone. Then since the diagram shows two right-angle triangles, calculate the value of D. So first, we're going to use triangle ABD to find the length of BD. And then using the length of BD in the angle, we can find D. So for the first triangle, we're going to use Pythagoras because we have the hypotenuse and we have the other leg. So 14.7 squared equals to 10.8 squared plus BD squared. Pythagoras is always used when you have a right angle triangle and they're asking you to find one of the missing lengths. If two lengths are given, you can easily find the third length. However, when an angle is involved, which is in triangle BDC, we will use SOHCAHTOA because without two lengths, you cannot use Pythagoras. So 14.7 square minus 10.8 square root equals to BD. And that's going to give us square root of 99.45. And the final value is 9.97 centimeters for BD. So once we have BD, we can see that we have the adjacent because adjacent is the length on which the angle lies, and we need to find the opposite. So that means we'll use tan. For this, you need to remember SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. We have to find opposite, we have the adjacent, so tan is the most suitable trig ratio to use. So D over 9.97 cross multiply 9.97 times tan 52, and that gives us 12.76 centimeters as the value of D. And with that, we're done with the questions for paper 3, second variant for May June 2025 series. If you have any questions or confusions, please leave a comment below and I'll help you out. And if you understood everything, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends.